Well, there's so much more going on in the world aside from the election in the United States. Let's check in with Miles O'Brien to bring us up to date. Miles?
Thanks very much, Bernie. Russian President Boris Yeltsin is heavily sedated at this hour, but doctors say he is recuperating well from his heart bypass surgery. The surgery took 7 hours. Doctors removed blood vessels from other parts of Mr. Yeltsin's body to bypass 5 clogged areas of his heart. They say the president could resume his duties within the next couple of days, but he might not return to office full-time until next year. Once he does, doctors anticipate no problems.
The length of time after operation for a bypass to continue to support the heart, in most of the studies that have been done in this regard, we can say that from 10 to 15 years after the operation, almost 3/4 of the patient were leading a normal life.
Mr. Viktor Chernomyrdin is the man in charge of day-to-day duties as well as Russia's huge nuclear arsenal. Chernomyrdin visited Mr. Yeltsin earlier today and called President Clinton to let him know the Russian president is, in his words, doing well. O.J. Simpson's civil trial got a late start today. Lawyers spent considerable time in chambers with the judge after a newspaper reported an 18-year-old court intern accused Simpson of sexual harassment. Both Simpson and the intern now deny the report. She says Simpson did invite her to a Halloween party at the home of a friend, but she refused. Once trial resumed, criminalist Dennis Fung testified that preliminary tests done on Simpson's shower and bathroom sink indicated the presence of blood, but he said no further tests were done to confirm it was human blood. CNN Election Night 96 coverage continues with Judy Woodruff. Judy?
All right, Miles, well, thank you. For even more election night information, you can log on to our political website. That is at allpolitics.com. Among other information, it is the place to find exit poll data for the states where the polls have closed. You can find out who voted which way and why.
The polls are going to close in 6 more states: Florida, Georgia, New Hampshire, South Carolina, Vermont, and Virginia at the top of the hour. And our comprehensive election night coverage will continue. Please stay with CNN for everything about what's going on.
And as we go to a break, we've got pictures of Little Rock, Arkansas, where, as we heard Wolf Blitzer say a little bit earlier, they are preparing for a joyful celebration tonight.
Closed captioning was provided by Bell Atlantic, the heart of communication.
Tonight, Election Day in the Crossfire. America votes. A look at the hot races and issues around the country. Join Ferraro and Novak, 7:30 Eastern on CNN.
This is CNN.
Not a bad day for an election day. We did see some showers across the Great Lakes region, and we did see some messy weather across the interior west. Higher elevations saw some snowfall, looking at as much as 8 inches in some places. Park City saw some snowfall, but this is going to head into the Central Plains. Look at all this cold air which is centered behind it. Well, we take you through the forecast time period, and it does look like headed into Wednesday, we've got that cold air which is sliding to the south and to the east. It's warm, it looks like, for at least another day or two, especially across the southeast. We're looking at 60s, 70s, and 80s. But look across the west. We've got a lot of cold air generated in through this area. How about Wednesday evening heading into Thursday morning? Here comes our blast of cold air, cold front, the leading edge of the moisture. High pressure moves in behind it. Then we'll see the snowfall across the northern plains and into the northern Rockies.
270 electoral votes are needed, and so far in CNN's election night coverage, President has 32, Bob Dole, nothing.
CNN coverage of Election 96. Live from CNN Center, here are Bernard Shaw, Judy Woodruff, Bill Schneider, and Ken Bodie.
So we're off and running. We have electoral votes up on the board, and here we go.
That's right. We're going to see what's going on in some of these states that are closing in this hour.
Looking at Florida now, with 25 electoral votes, CNN declares that President Clinton has won this very important state.
Major victory. This state hasn't voted Democratic since 1976. A lot of senior citizens in Florida, and the Medicare issue might have been big.
The polls have also just closed in the state of New Hampshire. Bill Clinton won it by just a hair in 1992. And Ken Bodie?
Judy, he started his last day of his last campaign in New Hampshire. It was very emotional for Bill Clinton, and he pretty much knew he would win this one.
Looking at Vermont, a declared winner for those 3 electoral votes, Bill Clinton.
Vermont hadn't voted Democratic since 1964 until 92. It went for Clinton then. It's going for Clinton now. It's a Republican state, but a liberal Republican state.
Georgia, it's very close in the Peach State. Bill Clinton won it barely in 92, and it's still undecided, Ken, at this hour.
That's right. He did win it barely in 92. In 1992, it was a 1-point state, and it's shaping up to be something like a 1-point state again tonight.
In Thomas Jefferson State, Virginia, 13 electoral votes. This race undecided at this hour.
Virginia has not voted for a Democrat for president since 1964. It didn't vote for Jimmy Carter. And remember, this is a big tobacco state.
And another southern undecided, South Carolina. This is a state that the Dole people were counting on, Ken Bodie.
Well, I think it's undecided because it's so soon after the polls close. You're absolutely right. The Dole people were counting on South Carolina, and I bet they still are.
2 other states looking at them quickly. Kentucky, this one is too close to call. And in Indiana, we're saying it is still undecided.
At this hour, let's take a look at that all-important electoral map and what we have. It's not a lot, but we have something. It's Bill Clinton has nailed down 32 electoral votes. At this hour, Bob Dole, nothing. But the night is young, the night's early, and those numbers will rise as the minutes go by.
That Florida victory is very, very important. The Clinton people in 1992 spent only $50,000 in Florida and wrote it off. And Bill's exactly right. It is a case of the seniors voting. It's a case of the Medicare issue. You can bet on it.
And it's a southern state. It's a southern state, although it's the least southern state. It's a big one. It's the 4th largest state. That is a tremendous victory for Bill Clinton.
Also, the Democrats have made inroads into the Cuban-American community, going after that Republican base there.
Remember when that airplane was shot down, Bill Clinton took very strong measures, the Helms-Burton Act against the Cubans. It was very controversial, but he might have gotten some Cuban support as a result.
The Cuban vote in Florida is generally 80% Republican. It's a very solid vote, and they vote. I'll be interested to see if he really did make much progress with the Cubans.
Let's take you now to New Hampshire in that very tough gubernatorial race between Jeanne Shaheen and Ovid Lamontagne. CNN declares that New Hampshire now has its first woman governor, Jeanne Shaheen. The Democrats pick up this seat, and also...
Yes, Jeanne Shaheen would be the first female governor. She took the anti-tax pledge. It was a tough race, but she has won it. First elected Democratic governor since, I think, 1980.
Exactly.
Another race people are keeping their eyes on, the state of South Carolina. Strom Thurmond, CNN declares him the winner.
Judy, Strom Thurmond is 93 years old. He'll be 94 when he takes office. The most interesting fact to me is that his babysitter, his childhood babysitter, voted for him. His childhood babysitter, who's 104 years old, voted for Strom Thurmond.
So wait a minute, she was 11 when...
I guess so.
Whatever,
I guess
when she was taking care of him.
And his opponent, Elliot Close, in this race was born 7 years after Thurmond ran for president.
In 1948.
In 1948.
I want to go back to Jeanne Shaheen in New Hampshire, governor, the first female governor of that state in New Hampshire, the most conservative state in New England.
New Hampshire is doing very well economically. It's actually a booming state, and the Democrats seem to be picking up on that. The incumbent Republican Senator, Robert Smith, may be in some trouble in his re-election campaign in New Hampshire.
Interestingly, Jeanne Shaheen is a political staffer, basically. That's where she's made her name. She worked for Jimmy Carter, she worked for Gary Hart, and then she got into the business herself of running for office.
She'll be the second woman governor. Now to the congressional desk for the latest on what Frank Sesno and his buddies down there are watching. Frank?
Well, Judy, what we're watching principally is the United States Senate. You started talking about what was happening in New Hampshire at the gubernatorial level. Let's take a look at what's happened at the Senate level as well. This is good news for the Democrats. It's a pickup for them. They need 3 pickups net if they're to take control of the United States Senate. Dick Swett beats Bob Smith, ousts the incumbent for a Democratic pickup in the Granite State. What once was traditionally Republican territory is swinging the other way tonight. Off to Georgia now. A very close race throughout in the state of Georgia, and it remains so. We're not calling that at this time. Max Cleland, Guy Milner, one up against the other. Guy Milner strongly in favor of Dole's tax plan. Max Cleland saying that he's in favor of abortion rights. This was an ideological and fiscal split. To Virginia, the battle of the dollars here. Senator John Warner against Mark Warner. The Democrats floated a guy here who spent $5 million of his own money. This one not yet called, but this one was one that everyone was watching very closely. Again, let's remind you what we're looking at here. The balance of power coming into this evening in the United States Senate. As you can see here in red, the Republicans held 53 seats. The Democrats, represented in blue, held 47. Up for grabs this evening, contested seats, 34 of them. What we just told you was that New Hampshire, which had been a Republican seat, has now gone for a Democrat. If everyone else were to hold, the parties, the Democrats would need 2 more. With a vote by the Vice President, they'd control the United States Senate. But this is a very early evening yet. Much more to be determined. More races still to be coming. And in the next hour or so, Bernie and Judy will be seeing a lot more of these states close. We'll have some more of these races. Let's go back to you on the National Desk.
All right, Frank Sesno, thanks. I think Frank pointed this out early. Maybe it was you, Ken. This is the largest number of open seats in the Senate since 1914, and it's the reason we're looking at so much turnover, especially in the South, potentially.
Well, it's
potentially.
not going to...
We don't know.
Potentially, and it won't work unless Bill Clinton, if he wins his election, gets 50% or more. If he's under 50%...
What we're looking for is to see if the Republicans continue to make gains in the South. There are 4 open seats held by Democratic senators in the South: Alabama, Georgia, Arkansas, Louisiana, and no Democrat has won an open seat in the South since 1988.
And we're also looking, I think, to see whether Bill Clinton has any coattails at all. That's what Bernie was alluding to. It is rare that a president has coattails in Senate races, but one modern president did, and that was Ronald Reagan in 1980. In that Reagan landslide, he pulled in 12 senators with him.
You know, I'm looking forward to our discussion tonight about divided Americans and how American voters either willfully or just naturally go into the voting booth, vote in such a manner that if one party controls the White House, they say, well, let's have the people on the Hill keep the guys in the White House honest, and vice versa. We'll see.
I've got a theory about that, but we'll talk about it later.
All right,
okay.
So do I.
Well, politics, the juice of politics is money, but a different kind of money is reported by Lou Dobbs with this brief edition of Moneyline.
Thanks, Bernie. Judy, investors today are betting Republicans will retain control of Congress. Stocks and bonds rallied, growing signs that the status quo will prevail in this election. The Democrats' policies are perceived as potentially dangerous to the markets. The Dow Jones Industrials tonight at 6,081, gaining 40 points, just 13 points shy of the all-time record high. The Nasdaq closing at 1229, up more than 8 points, strength there in technologies, and long-term yields in the bond market hitting a 7-month low. The 30-year bond today up almost a full point in price, and the yield at 6.58%.
Basically an expectation that President Clinton will remain in office and that the Republicans will retain some control in the House and Senate. That configuration on the whole has given us pretty strong financial markets up until now, and so the stock market in particular is saying, hey, that configuration is going to be good going forward as well.
Another blowout quarter for U.S. robotics. Fourth quarter profits at robotics doubled. Strong demand for all its products pushed revenue to record levels. Shares of U.S. robotics up $1.50 today. It topped the Nasdaq's most active list. 15 million shares of U.S. robotics were traded. Texaco shares sinking another 3 1/8. That on top of yesterday's $2 drop. Federal prosecutors have launched a grand jury investigation into alleged criminal behavior by some senior executives. Texaco tonight reviewing key audio tapes that reportedly capture some executives making racial slurs and plotting to destroy evidence. Several black employees at Texaco are suing the company. They claim they were denied promotions because of race. Shares of MCI